Hi, and thanks for joining me today on this overview of ConnectSU for page administrators. These are for this training is for folks who want to learn more about how to manage your page and how to use some of the very powerful tools that the new ConnectSU provides. If you're familiar with the old ConnectSU, you'll know that things are very similar, but they're just located in different places. So you might notice that difference. A quick note before we start, one, that ConnectSU now has a public page, and so if you set any of your events or your news to public, if they go to www.seattleu.edu/connectsu, there will be a public page, and they'll be able to see any events or any news or any forms that are listed as public for your organization. So if, for example, if you're having an event and say you want people to RSVP, if they go to ConnectSU, they're able to RSVP if it's public and you're allowing folks to kind of RSVP through that system. So we'll get into a little bit of that later. The other thing I just want to point out here is that Cork is the event list app, CORQ. You can see it's listed here. And if you click on that, or if you go into the Apple Store or to Google Play, you're able to download that onto your phone. The application just makes an entire list of all the events that you have access to in ConnectSU. It just pulls from ConnectSU. And so it's beneficial for you to put your club or organization's list of events in there because we've been pushing out more information about Cork and the ConnectSU page. So super, super beneficial to put your stuff on there. The number one thing that we get asked for in the Center for Student Involvement is a list of events. And between ConnectSU and Cork, we think that we have some good tools to be able to do that for students. So a couple things before we want to get started. Also, just as a note, if you have run into any issues, you can always click on this question mark, or the bottom of every page has a list to the Campus Labs support. Campus Labs is what provides us with this software, and you're able to, as a Seattle University person, just go down there and use support so that you can answer any questions. As the community administrator of ConnectSU, you're also able to email me at liangb@seattleu.edu or stop by the Center for Student Involvement where I work, and I'm happy to help you. So either email or stop by or any other way you want to get in touch with me, I'm happy to get you started. So a couple things before we get into the page tools. You'll notice here that now ConnectSU, it's a little bit easier to find things like events, organizations, news, and forms. And as a community administrator, I'm able to see a lot more information than others might be because I see literally everything. But I just wanted to show you that that is available here across this way and also down this way. So any memberships that you see, anything that you've RSVP'd for, and any other events that you might be interested in, as well as the news and these helpful campus links like email, etc. So that is the new format for ConnectSU, and hopefully you'll see that it's a little bit more streamlined. Now, once you get page administration rights, and right now all clubs are given administrator rights through the president and the financial officer. Once those two folks have been named, those two will have administrative access. And from there, they will be able to grant others administrative access or limited administrative access through their page. So we'll get to that a little bit. But if you have administrative access, you're able to come up to this waffle right here, and you're able to get into that this way. Just as a note, right over here is your profile. If you want to make any changes to anything, see anything that you've been tracked into, this is where everything is. There's also this great, right now, a way to register to vote down here. So if you want to make any changes to your name, everything is editable in your profile. So you can change just about anything on there except for your campus email address. So let's hit this waffle here, and you'll see that a couple things come up. One, I'm an admin for this, for our university, so I have this. But for you, you might want to just go straight into this Manage tool right here. And the Manage tool will show you immediately where you have administrative tools. And so you can see here, I have quite a few of those. But for the sake of this example, I might go into the Center for Student Involvement where I work and see here exactly what the page tools are. Now, what this looks like now looks like a dead end. And this is something that might be a little bit tricky because it looks like you don't have any access to anything. Well, right up here is this little hamburger, right? So we have a waffle up here, we have a hamburger over here. So click on the hamburger and all of the organization tools for your page will come up on the left-hand side. So these are lots of great, again, powerful tools that you can use to manage your club. The first one we're going to get into right now is the roster. So as an administrator, you're able to see anybody who follows your page in the roster. So any of those names are available there. And right now we've set it as default to anybody who is interested in joining your club can, and just let us know if that needs to change. The first thing I want to get to here is messaging. So unlike the last system that we had, messaging now is just available by creating what they call relays. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to create a relay as a test. And so we're going to say, we want to send this to everybody who's a member of our page here, of our organization. You can click on that. You see right now that's 178 recipients of our organization. You can also send that to individual members. So if you know you want to send it to 5 or 6 members, you can click who those people are. And then you want to put the subject of the title for this, or say this is a test. And then you click generate. Generate will then create this very, very long string that looks like just a bunch of gobbledygook here, but it's actually an email address. When you put this into your Gmail or into your Outlook, if you're using Seattle U email, when you click onto that, you're able to send an email on behalf of your organization to folks, and it'll say it's coming from, in this case, Center for Student Involvement, but for you, it'll say this is coming from your club. This is a great way for you to send out emails and also to keep your own listserv of folks who are part of your organization. So if you click on this, whatever default mail server you're using, you're able to send messages to folks. So for club leaders, it's important for you to know that following people, having people follow and join your organization is really important for things like this, for sending messages via email to that. So again, if you're used to the old ConnectSU, you're not going to be sending emails through the system anymore. You're actually going to be using your email address, but it's going to be coming from your club. So it's a great little tool, and you're able to use that as an administrator. The next one is manage positions, and you can come in here and and as an administrator now, you're able to make any positions that you want. So if we want to say, create a position because we really want to put in here the head of cat herding for our club, right? You can make up any position that you want. Here, you would either list them as an officer, which means that they would show up on your page if anybody was looking on your page, and then whether or not you want to show the holders of this position in the organization's roster. So if they're listed as an officer, they will come up on your front page. If they're listed as a member, they'll be shown. If you're showing your membership on your page, you'll show it'll show up as a member. So for the sake of this, we're not going to show that. Whether or not it's active or not, you can create past positions. So if this year you have a head of cat herding, and next year you have a head of sheep herding, you can change that and say, you know what, this position is no longer active. And down here, as administrators, you're able to give people all access or limited access. So all access is you have all the management features that are listed here on the left-hand side, like we saw before, but you can also say limited features. So if you want to create positions, say you have a secretary in your in your roster, you want them to have access to documents and events and messaging only. You can do that. So you can set different limited access. Again, you can create any positions that you want. The university will require that you have a president and a financial officer, and that's it. So you can create whatever positions and make them your own and give them whatever access if you want to give them access. altogether. So, and here you can see the list of all of the positions that we have in the Center for Student Involvement. Finally, if you want to invite people, you can invite people using their email address. And we encourage you to use their Seattle University email address because that is how they will be able to log into ConnectSU to actually join your organization. You can add their email address individually and then click on add email address. And if you know, for example, that your officers need to be joining your page, you can invite them individually as, invite them as a specific position. So you would send an invitation, they would get an email to their Seattle U email address, and then they will be they will be asked to log into ConnectSU. And the next time they go in there, they will be listed as that position, and also they'll be able to automatically have all the administrative accesses that you've granted them now as an administrator. So that's roster, lots of great tools in there for you to manage your organization. So next is about, and this is just all the information that you want to put in there about your club. You can put an image in here. There's a full description, a summary description, which shows up when people are just looking and checking out your organization. You can add any of the contact information here, any external websites that you might have, and any social media that you have so people can find all that. So pretty straightforward there. Events. So the next thing is events. This is, again, what a lot of people are asking for is an event list for students. And so we would really encourage you to put your events into ConnectSU. And again, that will be pulled right into the Cork app. So I will actually jump into another club so I can show you what this looks like. And I'm going to go into Seek. So Seek, again, is our Student Events and Activities Council. If you go to the page 2, instead of going to this waffle, you can always go into Manage Organization. So as an administrator, I'm able to see, hey, I can manage this organization by clicking right here. Again, we'll hit this kind of dead end, and then we'll go into Events. So you can see here, here's all of Seek's events that are coming up for this quarter. And if I want to create an event, I'm going to do that right here. The event title is going to be a test. Theme is where in the Quark app, you will list something. There's lots of different ways that you can find events in Quark, and these are determined by Quark. So we unfortunately can't change any of these things, but if you wanted to add them, you can put one of these in here, and it'll ask you to do that. So we're going to do this as group business. In the description here will be test. You would add a description of your event. For those of you who are using Eventbrite because you are charging for tickets and using the university's account through Eventbrite, you can get that through CES if you're interested. You would then add that link here for your event. So another great feature is now you're able to co-sponsor or co-host the event. And so we're going to put the Center for Student Involvement here as a co-host for this event, and you can have as many co-hosts as you want. So even if we wanted to say, hey, SGSU is also co-sponsoring this event, you can add them as well. The start date, so whatever the date it is, the start time, the end date, and the end time, you can add the location. So if you're having something, say, in the Student Center in 160, you don't have to show a map. But if you are having something off campus, or you say you're doing something somewhere else, in this case, we're going to just put the university's address here. You can show a map, and it'll bring up this handy-dandy little Google map. That way people can find exactly where you need to be, and you can actually move this around. So we know that the Student Center is just about here, and we're going to add that as a map and save it there, and it'll show you exactly where that is. That's super, super helpful, especially for new students. If they don't know where the buildings are, you can actually show them where that is. Another great feature is that you can add another date. So if you're doing multiple trainings or if you're doing multiple meetings, you can put all the meetings at the same time when you make this one event. Now, the one caveat is if you're adding lots of other dates, once all of those different events are created as separate events, they will be created as separate events. So a really important tip here is to get everything that you want right the first time and the first time that you make it, because once you make it into separate events, any changes that you want to make, so say you've changed locations or whatnot, you'll have to go into those individually. So make it right the first time, add all the dates, make sure that you don't have any other edits to put in, and then hit submit, and then all of your events will be correct and you won't have to make any other changes. But once you have to make changes after you've created it, you'll have to go into those individually. The next step here is to where you want to show this to. And again, ConnectSU now has a public page. So if you want this to be shown to the public, great. Or if you want just to have folks who have logged in, you can show that to students and staff at ConnectSU. Members of all hosting organizations. So if you have something that just your organizations are invited to, you can just show it to folks who are part of those organizations or specific invited users only. So for the sake of this example, I'm just going to hit invited users only. This next box here is allow attendance to this event to be shown on the co-curricular transcript. So students have the capability of downloading a co-curricular transcript through ConnectSU through their profile, and they're able to download that right through here. And that is everything that you've been tracked into or any leadership positions that you had in your club. And you download that, and it's a great companion for your resume. It's a great way for you to remember all the great things that you've done while you were on campus, any of the things that you've been tracked into. So for the sake of this example, we're not going to click on this. But if you have a great speaker or something that you were like, yeah, we're going to track people into this event, we want them to remember that they went to our awesome club event, go ahead and click on that button. It'll automatically show up on the co-curricular transcript once you've tracked them in there. Event categories, you can have as many of these as you want. So say we want this to be community building, we want this to be an advising category, we want to put the hall council event in here, any of these that you want to list in here. And this will make it easier for students once they do use that search bar, or if they're just looking for general things to do, if they're just looking for things through categories, you can click on those and help students find exactly where your events are. Next, this really cool thing that they've added this time is free food and free stuff and credit. For the most part, we'll be using free food and free stuff. So if your event has free food or free stuff, go ahead and do that. And students are able to, once they're in that event tab, actually look for things that are just free food or free stuff. We think this is great because we know that students are looking for these types of things, but also it helps us with some of the food insecurity issues that the university has been working hard on. And it gives students some anonymity and some ownership over what their experience would be, especially if they're going through some hardship around food. So it makes it really easy for folks to find exactly where the food can be. They can participate in a great event and also get a little bit of food. I'm going to click next here. Who can RSVP? So if you need RSVPs to your event, you can do that right through here. Anyone can RSVP, only invitees or no one. You can limit the number of available spots. So if you say, you know what, we only have 25 spots on this event, and so you can say, you can limit the number of people who can RSVP, and you can also show people, hey, there's only 24 spots available. You better sign up quick, and that's a really great way to do that. You can also allow guests, and you can limit the number of guests for RSVP up to 25. So 25 guests seems like a lot. Super, super popular person is inviting 25 guests. But you can also say, hey, I want you to be able to invite one other person to come to this event, or 12 other people to come to this event, whatever you might want. Organization representation. So if you need someone to come to your event to represent this organization, you can click on that if you want to here. That's up to you. That is a very specific thing. The next is RSVP questions. So if you want people to have to answer questions, or give them the option to answer questions when they RSVP to your event, you can say, what if you had any food allergies? Do you need any accommodations? Questions like that are really important for an event that you might be having. So you can add those RSVP questions here. There are a couple of question types that you can add. So you can add radio buttons or check boxes or a drop down. And then you add those questions. You can add as many as you want. And anytime that someone RSVPs, they'll answer those questions for you. And then you'll have a little bit more information. So if someone has a peanut allergy or if they have a gluten allergy, you might want to ask those types of questions as you're planning that, so that you know, hey, we really need to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, someone has an allergy. We don't want to serve food that might cause them to have an allergic reaction. So there's some really great ways to do that. Or if you want to even ask fun questions like, hey, you know, we're doing de-stress with dogs. What's your favorite dog type? What, you know, those types of things are also really, really fun to add in here as well. There is a way for you to make those required or not required. So if you absolutely need to know information, make it required. If you don't, just make it something that you can fill in. Now, the next thing here is to upload a photo. You can upload a photo just like this, and the system will help you actually find the right dimensions for your photo. So if you want to make it very wide, like I am here, or if you just want to say, I want to focus on these, just this hand right here and make it this big, you can do that as well. And the system makes it really, really easy for you to do that. You crop the image, and then suddenly it's hit to the right thing. So if you've looked on the event page site, you'll know that events are all sized the same way. And this is the way for you to do that. So you can add any events that you want. If you have a flyer, you can put it in there as well and have, you know, certain focus on a certain area on the flyer, or just show the entire flyer. Now, the next thing, because I'm an administrator, I see the skip custom fields. I just want to show you really quickly that there's additional, for clubs, there's additional information. Where will your event take place? Will you have a contract? We don't allow student clubs to sign contracts. That has to go through the contract process through the university. Even small or large contracts, even the contracts that we sign as an office, all go through the contract process through a university council. So if you have questions about that, feel free to contact CSI or email involvement@seattleu.edu. We're happy to work through that with you. But just as a note, no clubs should be signing contracts. If how you're funding the event through the appropriations, or if you don't need funding, is your event open to the public? Some other things that we just wanted to know as CSI. So I'm just going to click through a couple of these here, and we'll keep moving. And then everything's done. So here you go. Everything is done. You know, here's another option to allow the co-curricular transcript, and then you'll just hit submit. What happens from here is that Angel in our office gets all of the club requests for events. You'll put that to Angel. Angel will get that, and she will, if there aren't any questions, she will approve that for you, and then it'll pop up in ConnectSU and also on the Cork app. But for the sake of this example, I'm just going to cancel this submission so that does not go through. And there we go. All right, so that was budgeting. I'm sorry, that wasn't budgeting. That was events. The other thing I want to show you in events, and I'm just going to pop over to CSI, back to CSI, is once you're in the administrative view and your event has been approved, this is what you'll see on the back end. So you'll go back into that hamburger, you'll go into your events list, you click on the event. If you're tracking the events attendance, this is where you'll go. You'll either come to track attendance here, or if you're using one of our swipers, you'll come into here. You'll need the access code, and they make it really easy. If you need a swiper, we have 20 swipers available at our front desk. You can check them out when our office is open, 11 to 7, Monday through Thursday, and 11 to 5 on Fridays. And what you'll do here is you'll plug in that swiper, you'll copy this code, and make it super easy for you to do that. And then you'll go to this swipe URL, which is actually a separate site. And this is if you have Wi-Fi access. You'll paste the code back in there and you'll submit. And once that's ready, it'll say ready to swipe. And from there, you'll be able to swipe folks in using their card and using those swipers. So that's when you have, if you have swiped, if you're using a swiper to track your attendance and you have Wi-Fi. The other option that you have is you can also, and again, it shows you that same swipe access code in the swipe page right here. Here's how you copy it and go to that same place. So it's available in a couple places. If you don't have Wi-Fi access, or if you want to use a really, really fast option, you can add attendance actually by using that same swiper that you can put in there. And by doing a file upload. The way that you do this is by opening up a regular Microsoft Excel page on your laptop and connecting that swiper, and then you'll just start swiping cards. It'll give you this very, very long string of characters, and that's actually what's on the magnetic code in your card. You'll take all of that, and when you're done with your event, you'll come back once you have Wi-Fi access. You'll save that as a CSV or a TXT file. It actually tells you right here what that looks like. And you will click on, like it says here, you can only upload card ID numbers. The system actually recognizes out of that whole string that you have on that Excel spreadsheet, which of those numbers is the ID number. You will choose this file, you will upload it. You will upload it as an Excel spreadsheet. You'll choose whichever status you want people to be in, and then you'll upload it. And then the system will automatically match those who have signed into ConnectSU in there. Now, if there are people that are on your list and it says could not find the person that matches with this, once they've logged in, it'll actually match their record. So if you have a friend who has not logged into ConnectSU recently, once they log in and they've been tracked into your event, it'll automatically show that they've attended your event. And if you don't want to use the swipers, or for some reason the swipers are not using, you can add folks by their email address by doing this. You will add them individually, one per line, so you can just type people in. You'll choose the status again, and then you'll add people individually. So that's how you track attendance. Now, tracking attendance is really helpful for you to know who came to your events and how many people came to your events. And if you have other follow-ups, so if you have a survey that you want to go out, or if you want to say like, hey, you should all follow our page, then you would, download all of their information through this export of your event. You download all of their information and you would just send them an email to say, hey, don't forget to join our page for other great events that we're doing. This is really, really helpful for clubs, and the more information that we know about clubs and how many people are attending things, the better that our office actually can advocate for you. So we hope that you'll use this as a way, and then the system will be able to keep a lot of that information for you, including for folks who might be coming in next year to be like, we don't really know how many people came to their event. This system will be able to help the future officers know, hey, we did this really great event. It was on this date, and 150 people showed up, or whatever it may be. So those are events. Really quickly, here's news. Here's how you can create an article here. You can create the title and the summary and add the body of this. You can add all sorts of things in here. If you want to email members to say, hey, we've posted a news article, you can click on this. This is the only time when you're creating the news article, this is the only time that you have to actually click this notify members. So if you want to email your members, do this now while you're creating it. Otherwise, you can't come back in after you've created that news post and still click on that notify members. It won't show up. So if you want to email folks, it will drive them back into ConnectSU to your news post, so they can read the entire thing. It'll only show the title and the summary. You can add a picture here if you would like to. You can add an image caption, which aids in accessibility. So if someone is using a reader, or if they they can't see the photo for whatever reason, it doesn't show up, this image caption will show up, and it'll show them it'll describe exactly what's in your picture. So we encourage folks to use that image caption, and then you can select the visibility, so public, institution, organization, or private. So news is a great way to share updates, that's what's going on, to say, hey, these are our new officers, or hey, we just did this great service project and we just want to share it with you, or we're happy to share this new update about the things that we're working on this year. However you want to share your news, it's available for you to do that. And again, if folks have joined your page, they will automatically see that as part of their feed when they come into ConnectSU, and you can email them that as well. Gallery is a great place to put in all of your photos, and so you can create albums and put photos into them. Another great way to chronicle all the great things that your that your club is doing. And if someone finds your page, any of the pictures that they have access to will automatically show up on that page. Documents, this is a great place to share documents and also to keep a great chronicle of all of the documents that your club has used either now or in the past. Forms. So this is where you can create a form online. As you can see here, CSI has a couple of forms. You can create your form, and just like SurveyMonkey or Qualtrics, you can create a form. And the great thing about the new ConnectSU, again, is if you go to that front page and you go to that one tab, the forms page, any of your members will be able to search that form. They won't have to go through your page at all. They can go to forms directly and be able to find your form pretty quickly. Finally, finance, the one thing that I want to mention to clubs is that right now, SGSU has started using this finance uh, functionality to create new requests for budgets. SGSU will be sending out more information, but clubs this year will be using this finance tab right down here at the bottom for any appropriation requests that will be coming in to SGSU. So you can create, I believe it is one of these requests. Here it is. So a budget request. And again, you'll find that by going into finance and then going into create a new budget request. This is where this will be available, and you'll be able to start that whole process for SGSU appropriations. They are using this finance tab, just so you know, moving forward, so that you can request any money through the appropriations process. So there you go. That's a quick overview for page administrators on ConnectSU. Again, I just want to point out there are a couple ways to get to support. You can click support right down here, or up at the top here, you're actually able to click on this little question mark, which is also engage support. That's the name of this platform. And you click on it and you can basically find a lot of information, including information that we are covering here. You can look at getting started with using this platform, and also videos on how to use the platform. So really, really helpful. You can actually email them and chat with them. You can also contact me directly. So if you want to email me at liangb@seattleu.edu, I'm also happy to help you. And the staff at CSI is also incredibly helpful. So if you want to go there, we're happy to help you as well. I know a lot of offices on campus are using this now a lot more. And so we encourage clubs to join in that, especially to try to help us get to our vision of having a centralized student event calendar on campus, where we can help students get connected to the various communities and great things that you all are doing as club leaders. So again, my name is Bernie Leong, and I'm happy to help. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon in the office. Thanks.